Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Talk 122 with your superintendent. I am Dr. Yarbrough. With me is a newbie in front of the camera, but not a newbie to our school because you've been here for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm Reed Allison, the athletic director for Harlem District 122. This is my first year here, so started in July, and really excited for what we've done so far and what's to come.
Okay, well, thank you for that, and welcome. Obviously, and since you're still kind of a newbie, then I won't take it too easy on you. So we'll go from there. But I guess my first question, for you, for the audience, for those who haven't had the pleasure yet of really getting to know you and talk to you, can you talk a little bit about your path that led you, not only to Harlem but to the role of athletic director?
Right. My father was my football coach in high school and was a teacher, English teacher at Galesburg High School.
Okay.
And my mother was a special ed teacher at one of the junior highs. They didn't have middle schools back then. They were junior highs.
So now Galesburg, is that where Knox College?
That it is also where Knox College is. And then I went on to Knox and played football and track there at Knox. And athletics has always been part of my life, from seeing my parents active in it and active in it as an athlete, and then started coaching. And it's always been a passion for me. I really think it is where you can teach great lessons outside of the classroom. And you can see people excel at something different than they might not be great in the English classroom, but they can really excel on the court.
Absolutely.
And same thing for those coaches, see those coaches in a different light outside of the classroom. But it's all teaching when it comes down to it, whether it is in Algebra 2 or in bowling. We see we want good teachers in all those places. And I think I can be somebody to help find those good teachers and make them better.
Absolutely. So, so two questions that just came out of your response. One, you said you played for your dad,
Mm-hmm.
and so how was that experience like? Because I've seen it, obviously, over the years where, the coach's kid and things like that, and so for you, explain that experience.
Right. It was it's obviously unique, and you have to kind of go.
Now remember, your dad may watch this.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's obviously unique because you have to have gone through it to understand what it is. It's one of those type of things. It's kind of hard to tell somebody about, but I looked at it as a positive.
Okay.
And the way my dad handled it was I had to be better than everybody else to get my to get my shot.
Yeah.
Other people were going to get a shot first because he didn't want that lens of favoritism to be on there. And he told me how it was. He's like, if you mess up, whether it was being somewhere that I shouldn't be, or making bad choices, it's a reflection on me as a coach and our family. So that made that decision for me pretty easy, that I was gonna do the right thing during that time, and it also gave me an excuse, I think, as a young man, like, oh, I can't mess up because my dad's the coach, and my friends understood that. So.
Okay. No, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
No, thanks for sharing that. And so when thinking of, your role as an athletic director, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you've been a coach and all of those things, and you could have probably just stuck with that.
Mm-hmm.
What makes being an athletic director, though, so special to you?
I think it is the ability to have my vision of what I think educationally based athletics is about, and be able to implement that at a school. And it doesn't mean I can do it all at once. I think, as we've talked before, we can do anything, but we can't do everything. So we want to be able to implement, I want to be able to implement what I think is best for the student athletes at Harlem High School, and work with coaches and coaches, and ensure to make sure that student athletes are having the best experience possible.
Yeah, perfect. And I'm glad you brought up coaches too, because that's one of your main jobs, right?
Mhm.
Is to really make sure that your coaches are getting what they need to
Right.
support our student athletes,
Yeah.
right? And so when you think of coaches, what do you look for in a coach? Both in new coaches,
Mhm.
that you may end up hiring, but also too in supporting the coaches that are currently on your staff.
I think it comes down to being student based, just like we do when we're looking for a good teacher. We want a coach to be athlete based,
Right.
student athlete based, and make sure that they're one, there for the right reasons,
Okay.
that they're going to be good teachers, that they have a vision for their own program. And I want assistant coaches that want to be head coaches
Okay.
because
Yeah, that's good.
those are professionals that are trying to work their way up. They're trying to learn. They're not satisfied with just being at that level. So it's good. It's good to have a little turnover for the right reasons. That we have coaches going on to be head coaches, maybe somewhere else or within our own programs.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, and I appreciate that. And two, especially with the assistant coaches wanting to be head coaches, and that's
Mhm.
the goal of yours. And it's vesting in your own, and I love that the
Yeah,
mentality too.
yeah.
And so let's take a peek behind the curtain a little bit, right? Because from a parent's perspective, from a student athlete's perspective, community member's perspective, you know you see the games, right?
Mhm.
We see you at
Yeah,
games. We see
yeah,
you running around with your head cut off a little bit
yeah.
sometimes, right?
Right.
Like trying to
Yeah.
make sure everything
Absolutely.
is getting taken care of. Take us behind the curtain a little bit with you and how you keep everything like organized.
I really depend on the staff in the athletic department, whether it's Mrs. Cooper, who's the face of our office,
I intentionally teed you up for that
and
to make sure you
and
was going to say her name. So
and really runs the office for us, along with all the assistant athletic directors that works seasonally. So we have Mr. Dale, Mr. Lemke, and Mr. Cooper in the spring. Those folks, and just being as prepared and organized as possible. Just like in a classroom or at a practice or a game, the more prepared you are for anything going into it, the better you're going to feel when it comes up. So if we make sure we have our game workers ready, if we make sure that we've double checked to make sure the opponent's going to be there, that we got officials, then we feel really confident that we're going to pull off a great event for that day and for those athletes.
Okay, no, perfect. So now we're going to transition a little bit. This is probably my favorite part of
Okay.
the conversation as well, where I think people have got an idea of who you are,
Okay.
and your journey a little bit. And so now we're gonna have a little fun.
Okay.
When you think of Harlem, right? I
Mhm.
mean, because obviously you could be anywhere right
Mhm.
now and doing any
Yeah.
job that you want to do at any school district. But what makes Harlem so special to you and what you've learned in the amount of time you've been here?
Yeah. I really think the thing that has appealed to me and the thing that maybe I didn't know coming in, but has made me really enjoy it is the diversity
Okay.
that we have in this district. I came from a district that was not very diverse. I grew up in a district that was pretty diverse as a high school student myself. So I've really enjoyed kind of coming back to that and just the people that I've gotten to meet here, whether staff, students, parents have been great, and I think there's uh, a lot of potential here that we can tap into as a district and as an athletic department to make us go to the next step.
Absolutely. I'm a little biased, but I think we're the best district around.
Yeah,
So
right.
thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Two, so now you know our mascot, right? And
Yeah.
and our mascot's name is Harley,
Harley. Yeah.
right? So if you could now go back in time and name our mascot, what name would you pick?
That's a
And
good
Harley could be,
question.
what? That's
Right.
just a name.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty
if
good.
you could name our
I
mascot.
I think you could also go with Alpine because we're on Alpine.
Oh, yeah.
Alpine is a kind of a Huskies from up north, right? And you think of Alpine. So I think Alpine.
I don't think that didn't come up.
Could have
when
been
we
a
were,
good.
okay.
Could have been a
I
good
like that
name
one.
too. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that was good.
Uh-huh.
You kind of threw me off there.
Right.
Like, Alpine. Yeah, no, that was good. All right, and so one of the last questions I like to ask all the guests, right?
Okay.
And taking into account you've only been here for a year, so our feelings won't get hurt.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite person in the district?
My favorite person is LaWanda Cooper.
Okay, yeah, you're really it's really okay.
She helps me. She is honestly, and she's standing right over there, so she can hear me say this. She has set me up for success, and so any success that we've had as an athletic department is due to her as well. So she's been awesome getting me started in this position and helping me out, because an athletic director, you're kind of on an island with people asking you questions and things like that. And so she has been a great asset for me.
Gotcha. No, thanks for saying that. I think she's okay too. Yeah. So last question for you. When we were kind of getting started here, they were doing a mic test, and it's like, you said check, mic 1 2 1 2. I'm not gonna tell you where to lean to this, but we just had a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. We had a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we had a pretty successful, rapper, perform.
Right, yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you this question: are you Team Kendrick or Team Drake or both?
Oh, Team Kendrick all the way.
Oh man,
Team Kendrick all the way.
Man, that just hurt me because I like them both. I'm a Drake fan.
Okay,
but I like them both. So all right, well,
don't let that be reflected on my evaluation.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Anything else you want to let the community know about you before you go? I appreciate you being on.
No, I just want everybody to know that if they have any questions or anything, they can come right to me here in the athletic department, and we're always available to answer anything that they might want to know.
Gotcha. No, well, again, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you being on. Obviously, thanks for joining, our team, and we're happy to have you.
Absolutely. Very excited to be here.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So you had part 2, of the podcast, and now we got part 1 of the podcast, and now we have part 2 of the podcast. And as her name was mentioned a couple times in the first segment, we have the LaWanda Cooper on the podcast. And I will tell you, and the reason why I start with that is, you didn't know this, but I've been trying to get you on for a long time. Like, you've been one of my, in my mind, I wanted to get LaWanda Cooper on. And we'll get to why, but I really appreciate you, taking the time and being on here today. So for those that don't know you, which I can't imagine there's a whole lot of people that don't know you, can you tell the community a little bit about yourself and what led you to your current role?
Well, I moved here in 2006. My
Okay.
kids have been in Harlem since. I've graduated 6 since 2009.
Okay.
Last one's leaving in 2023.
Okay.
Volunteered a whole lot. So a lot of people thought I
whole
worked
lot.
here.
Yes.
When actually I was volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
The position came open, and I thought, my kids, most of them have been in sports. So when it came open, I was like, that's perfect.
Right.
That's something I can see myself doing. And now that I do it, I wish I would have started way earlier.
That's good. That's good to know. And thank you for that. So you said you've had 6 kids that have come through, huh?
Yeah.
Which is cool. And I think I know just about all of them who have come through. And so I'm going to hit you with a harder question right now. Out of the 6 that have come through Harlem, and let's see, remember, they're going to all watch this. And they've all been involved in some type of sport and things like that. Which one will you say had the biggest career in sports?
Ooh, that's tough.
Okay. Biggest impact.
That's really tough.
I know, because they're going to watch this. They're going to watch this. You can say all have had their impact in some way, shape, or form.
James obviously would be the most popular that most people would think of.
Okay.
He did
now,
amazing
he played
things.
football, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Jada, though, Jada
Okay.
did some amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was involved in everything.
Okay.
You name it.
Yep.
I mean, she lived here.
Mm-hmm.
And cheer is the one sport that'll make me cry when I watch it.
Okay.
They get 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Her team is the only sectional champs, first to make it to state as a cheerleading team.
All right.
I think the 2 minutes and 30 seconds is why I would say Jada.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here first, and I didn't mean to do it that way, but yeah,
my son will disown me now.
Yeah. So, but that's good. So, they all were special. They all had their times here at Harlem, and so we appreciate them coming through. And shout out to Jada. I will say, if you ever want to come back and teach, we still want to get you back here to teach. And so, when you think of your role right now, right, and I've talked to you many of times, and what I love about you and what you say, regardless of what the situation is, it's about the kids, right?
Always.
And so when you say that resonates with me. But talk a little bit about what that means to you, and in helping, the kids that you work with, both in athletics and then also obviously to help them with their academics. What does that mean to you?
I don't know. I kind of feel like high school is their last chance before it's welcome to the real world.
Okay.
A lot of these kids go through a lot of things that people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think that only athletes come in and talk to me. I talk to a lot of kids, and Mr. Allison can tell you.
Okay.
I won't tell you I know everyone's name, but the door is always open. Mm-hmm. I feel like if I can impact them in any way or make these 4 years better somehow, then that's all. I mean, it's all about them at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard you say it more than once. So
I don't do it for the money. I tell them that I don't do it for anything other than the fact that, like, when they're not here, I don't like to be here.
Okay. All right. And so thank you for that, by the way. When you think of your role, right, in what you do, because your door is always open, and sometimes people are coming in and out and they get questions about physicals and all those things. What's taking us behind the curtains a little bit, what's the part of your job where you're like, what, that's the piece of where I deal with the most?
Physicals are the toughest.
Okay.
Keeping that in order.
Keeping the physicals in order.
And only because, and I'm going to say this so everyone understands.
Yeah, that's good. You got a platform here.
I turned in the physical.
Right.
You guys have it. But you guys keep registering under different emails, and the system doesn't talk to itself. So
Okay.
I can't keep track when you use all these different emails.
Gotcha.
But keeping track of that, and then keeping them out of practice and making sure that they're,
okay.
I mean, because obviously you want those physicals there, so nothing. If anything happens, we know what's going on. And
gotcha. Okay.
Know that they're healthy enough to be there.
Okay. No, that's good. And so in addition to physicals, because I know that's a huge one. We get phone calls about physicals too at the board office. So thank you for keeping all that in order. When I think of and I see you at like Orange and Black, and you're handing out awards or getting awards ready for your athletic director to do that, how do you keep all of that organized? And he gave you a pretty big compliment of you're the one that kind of keeps things going. And so how do you keep all that organized? How do you plan all that? Because to the community, it's like, oh, like boom, 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 here it is. But I know it takes more than that. So
yeah, that starts in like June.
Okay.
I like things pre-done, so I'm not last minute. Like, I hate last minute.
Okay.
So when I know it's coming up, I start that process. So I already know how they're lining up, who's getting what. Rosters get tough because it's changing still at that point.
Okay.
But I got a pretty good friend here. Heather will help me through it.
Okay. Shout out to Heather.
She's
cool.
been with me at every one, just making sure we get them lined up and it goes smooth.
Okay.
But that's like my biggest, like, that's my night. Like, it's got to be perfect.
Got to be perfect. and that's okay. So now let's have a little fun, at least in my opinion of what fun is. I'm going to ask you some questions. That first one was a doozy for you, by the way, and I know the kids are probably going to get you for that later. So give you the same question that I gave the athletic director. If you had the opportunity to rename our mascot, would you pick a different name, and what would the name be?
Only because I had a student who's kind of special to me,
Okay.
would like to see it just called Husky. And that's what I named the one that we have in the office during Christmas now. When got him a tag and everything.
Just Husky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because that student brought it up.
Right.
And that means something to me. So
okay. Well, I hope that student watches this and knows that that's what, you care about that. And of course it's Husky, right? I mean, that's
Keep
our
it
name.
simple.
Keep it simple.
But I like Harley.
You like Harley?
Yeah.
So Harley has grown on you?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Your favorite person in the district?
Ooh. Just trying to get me in trouble all around.
Yeah. I'm let's see.
I can only pick one?
You can only pick one.
Oh, that's tough.
Now, some people in the past have picked more than one, but I like to have it one. Makes it a little bit harder. And special.
And you said district.
Mm-hmm. And they can work in any capacity.
All right, you know me. I say what I want to say. So me and you got history, so
We got history.
much respect always.
Yeah.
I will give Miss Townsend.
Okay.
And Maria.
Okay. All right.
Got to give my boss some credit though. He has made my life it's so simple.
Okay.
Easy to work with. Great choice. Y'all made a good choice. He was my first choice too.
Okay.
So
All right.
we won with that one.
Because you are the LaWanda Cooper, I'll let you get away with. I think what was that? 4? 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We'll let you get away with that. Okay. I'm surprised you didn't mention your husband. Just gonna say that because
I didn't say part time. I mean,
I was trying to get you to at least mention him, so I'm sorry.
Dad, he gives a lot too. He was volunteering with me, so
okay,
much love there.
Okay, all right.
He knows I respect that.
So if there's anything, because obviously you've been a part of Harlem for a very long time, right? Anything you want the community to know about you? Anybody that's watching this to know about LaWanda Cooper?
Not a secret. Some people have their feelings about me.
Okay.
If you have feelings about me or concerns, I'm the best person to ask.
Okay.
My door is always open. My phone will always be answered.
Mm-hmm.
And that's anytime. I answer emails at 10 o'clock at night if someone sends them.
Yeah.
I'm here for the kids. You'll never have to question that. Your kids are in good hands.
Absolutely.
Athletes or not.
Mm-hmm. And they'll be well fed too. I've seen that. You see your next
Killing
to
my
that
pockets.
one. Well, I appreciate you being on. Like you said, you and I got history, and I always say, to anybody that asks me, you're one of the reasons why I feel that I'm in the role that I am, today. And so I know you say something different, right? I did that. But I really appreciate you advocating for me at a time when I needed you to. And so that's why I started this interview saying you've been one of the people I wanted to kind of get on and kind of talk and chat and for the community to get to know you, right? And because they see you in one capacity and one role, but I've seen you in at other aspects of your advocacy for people and your care, for particularly our students and our coaches and who you work with. Your team is always appreciated by me. So thank you for being on. Thank you for being a part of Harlem. And with that being said, again, thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Talk 122. I am, your superintendent, Dr. Terrell Yarbrough. And like we always say, I am Harlem, you are Harlem, we are Harlem. Thank you for tuning in.